and welcome to Crafty Turn. It's been a little while since I've done a tutorial, but we're going to have a go at doing one today. So we're going to make a memory book page today with deep pockets, and we're also going to make belly bands and decorative pockets. So let's have a go. Let's come down and we'll make a start. So this is the page that we're going to make. So I'm just going to bring it up slightly. That's it. So this is the page that we're going to make today. So it's going to be a page that opens, and then you've got the back page which will stick into the book. So you've got 1, 2, 3 pages. Now the back page, the page that's going to stick in the book, I have completed. So the page is 7 3/4 by 7 3/4 to fit in an 8 by 8 book. The papers are just under 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, and then I'll explain about everything else as we go along. So we've got a deep pocket, and we've also got on this page, we've got a belly band, and I'm going to take you through that, but I'm also going to take you through making a decorative pocket as well. So this is the one that's complete, so I'm going to move that one out of the way. On this one, I've done the front, and you can see I've made the deep pocket and I've put the tab inside. And on this, we're going to make a decorative pocket. On the other side, we haven't done anything. So this is where we're going to start. So what I've done is I've cut myself a piece of paper, which is just under 7 3/4 by 7 3/4, and then I'm just going to get my ruler. I've cut the top off this so that I've got the larger piece is 6 inches, and then I've got a piece on the top, put it the right way around, that goes like that. So if I put the two together, you can see how they fit onto the page. So then what I've done is I've cut another piece of card at 7 3/4, but just slightly more than 6 inches. So as you can see, it fits on like that. So I'm going to glue this bit on here, and I'm just double checking that it is the right way up so that it matches. So I'm going to glue the top piece on like this. Now when you're working on a page with a hinge, just be careful that you don't go too close to the hinge, otherwise it will stop the thing from folding. So I'm just going to bring that into there like that, and I'm just going to give that a little bit of a burnish to hold it down. We don't want it coming up here particularly, because we're going to be putting things in. And then we're going to stick our other part of the decorative paper onto our other piece of card. So I'm just going to go around the edges. The papers I'm using are Paper Boutique, and I can't think what they're called, and I've moved the papers themselves. I've had it for quite a long time, so I don't know whether they actually make this one. It's Paper Tree, not Paper Boutique. I don't know whether they actually make this one anymore, but it was one I bought because I absolutely loved the papers. So that's what I'm using today. So now I've stuck that onto there. So I'm just going to go around the 3 edges like this to form my pocket. So making sure that lines up at the bottom all the way along, and then it will line up everywhere else. Just lining up your papers. Whoops, so I'm a bit slippy this morning. Line up your papers, and I'm going to put that down like that, and I'm just going to burnish particularly these top corners, because we don't want them coming apart. And then we're going up this side just give it a really good burnish. Okay, so that's your pocket made, and you can have your pocket as deep as you want. We could have it to go right to the top. I like to have this little space because I like to have a tab. So if you have a look at this one, you can see there's a tab on there. And if I took it right to the top, the tab would be sticking out, which is fine. You may like it like that, but once it's in the book, I don't actually like tabs sticking out. So I usually cut myself, as I say, a strip. Then my tag is a piece of card 6x6 and a piece of decorative paper, slightly less. I can see that's just got a little bit of a tag on it. So I'm just going to snip that off like that. There we go. And I'm just going to stick that onto there. Now, you can decorate both sides of your tag. I tend not to, because I tend to leave that other side for people to put photographs on. But that's completely up to you. Also, because I sell these, try and sort of save a little bit of money where you can. But people want to be able to put photographs on that side. I could have put photo slots in there as well, but I'm just going to leave that blank. And now I'm going to make the tag. Now, I'm going to use dies because I can, I've got them. But if you haven't, you'll see how that works. So let me just find my tags. So you can use all your scraps of paper to make your tags and all your little decorative elements. So don't ever throw your scraps away. So I've got 2 scraps of paper here, and I've got a different pattern to the pattern there and the pattern there, but it does tie in with some of the other things that I'm doing, which is why it's a scrap, because I've cut other pieces out of it. And I've got a scrap piece of card. So these are Corkat dies. I know Tonic do tag dies as well, or as I say, you can make these very, very simply. So this one, whether you can see, it's got an embossed line down the middle there, so that this will fold. So if you were making one, you would just have to cut a piece of card and emboss down the middle, and then you can fold it over. And then this one is just the decorative middles for it. So I'm going to just put these into my die cutting machine, stick them down, try and pick a bit that's got a nice flower. This is a scrap piece, so if you don't, if you waste a bit of it, it's not so important, but I want a nice flower for the front. And then I'm just going to run that through my machine. This morning I'm using the Gemini MIDI because it's nice and to hand and it doesn't shake the camera too much. Okay, so you'll see what I mean. So you've got a little piece with a line in the middle, and then you should have 2 decorative pieces. One must be inside my, yeah, there it is. So 2 decorative pieces. So I'm just going to fold this in half and just make sure that my corners are level. Give that a bit of a squidge. And just give that a bit of a burnish. And then that's the way I want my tag to come out. So I want my pretty flower on the front. So I'm going to stick my pretty flower on the front. And you can see it's picked up part of the flower from around the edge of this design. And I love paper packs where everything works together. So even if you use a different piece, it really doesn't matter. And then I'm going to turn this over and put one on the other side, like that. and then I'm going to put some glue on both sides of these tags, and I'm going to centre it. So to centre it, I'm going to use my little laser. So it's 6 inches, so I want it at 3 inches. So I'm just going to turn that on, move it down a little bit, and then I can centre this pretty much dead centre. Whoops, pretty much dead centre. I'm getting it halfway through there. I'm just going to move it over a little bit more. You don't have to be this precise, but I'm just going to do it because I can. Okay, move that out of the way, and there's my tab. So half of it is stuck onto the tab and the other half is stuck together, and then that's going to go in there like that. And again, you can see you're picking up the design very nicely. So I'm just going to move those out of the way, tidy that up later. And because this is going to be the inside page, I'm going to have a belly band on this page, the same as I've got on that page. But I don't want to take the swans away. So I'm thinking I might do a belly band going down that way, because you can see on this, there are these lovely 2 swans, and I don't really want to lose them. So I think I might have a belly band that goes that way. Yeah, I'll have a go at that. Okay, so again, I've got some scraps of paper, and I'm going to use dies again, but these are so easy to make without a die. You just need to cut yourself a rectangle of card and then a slightly smaller rectangle of patterned paper. But I'm going to use Corkat dies, and these are the bat wing design. So you've got 2, a larger and a smaller. So the larger one goes onto the blue card, and the thing about these dies is there is no cutting edge on either end, so you can expand these as much as you want to. I like them as belly bands, but I also like them actually as just a decorative band. Just wondering if I'm going to be able to get that in, or whether I need another piece of card. It's a little bit tight, so I'm going to put that onto another piece of card. So I'm going to cut my 2 blue ones first. So I'll put that in there. Actually, I'll turn that over. The thing I find with the Gemini MIDI is that the plates do rather bend, so I try and move them around a bit. So that goes on there, and I'm just going to cut those 2 out quickly. It's just not going to go in there. That's it. So put that one through. And then you've got the smaller one that you use with the paper. So I'll take these off here. Take that away. Take that away. The tape I want more than anything else at the moment. So I'm just going to move those out the way for a moment. And I'm going to put this one on here. Like that. I'm hoping I'm going to get that in there. Just look at that. That's a little bit tighter than I would actually want. But I'll tape it down firmly. And it should be fine. Always remember with dies, you've got a little bit of wriggle room because they don't cut directly to the edge. The cutting edge is always in just slightly. So I'm going to run that one through. Like that. And then I've got everything that I need cut out. So I'm going to start with the patterned paper, and I'm just going to pull that off there, like that. And because it's hasn't got a cutting edge. I'll just snip those off there. Okay, we'll move that bit out of the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to centre up this piece, and it's going to run from there to there. So from there to there we know is 6 inches. So I'm going to go from the edge, so I'm about centre with the 3 inches. Put the line on. Oh, it's a little bit dark, it's not going to do it so well. Oh yes, no, it's come through, it's fine. And I'm going to line that up so that it is in the centre. Okay, like that. So the line is straight and it's in the centre, like that. I'm just going to take it down for a second. Okay. So now I know where I want to cut, and I'm just going to cut with my scissors. You can always tidy it up afterwards, and you're going to cut just slightly smaller than the edge. Probably cut that just a little bit too small, but that's fine. Just slightly smaller than the edge. So now you know you've got that exactly the right size for what you want. So I'm going to take it off there. And we're going to bring the blue one in. Snip that out. Get rid of the scrap. And I can now put this on to here so that I can see exactly where I need to cut the blue one. So I'm going to put some glue on this. All the way around. I'm using the Tonic Nouveau Deluxe glue. It is my glue of choice. I'm just trying to decide. I suppose it matters very much because it's going downwards. So I'm just going to pop that on there, make sure it's centred. And as I say, you don't need the dies for this. You can do a very easy belly band just using 2 small rectangles. It is more decorative, and it does actually just save a lot of cutting. And I'm just going to go that side and measuring, and I'm going to go that side, and that hopefully will fit quite nicely on there. So a little bit of glue at the top and a little bit of glue at the bottom, and I'm going to centre it up as best I can by eye this time. So I'm just going to centre it up, and I've left it a little bit shy there, so I've got a little bit of a gap, only because I don't want it catching on the thing coming in and out. Stick those down, and then I've got my 2 decorative centres. Now if this was on an outside page, I would probably use foam pads to give it a little bit more of a decoration, but it isn't. It's going on an inside page, so I don't want it to be standing up too much, so I'm just going to stick it straight on there. You don't need this bit, but it just adds a little extra piece to it, and I think it was better to go that way because then we don't lose the swan's heads. Okay, so that's done that piece, and this will now go onto there and open up with my belly bands and my tags. And then I've done a tag on here, but this time I've gone horizontal rather than vertical, just to add a little bit of something else to it. And I'm going to do a decorative pocket across here. It doesn't have to be a decorative pocket. I tend not to do belly bands on the front because the tags do tend to fall out. So I'm going to do a decorative pocket, and I've got a piece of decorative paper that I've cut, and I've got a piece of card which is the same width as this. So it's 6 inches, and then this is slightly smaller. And again, I've made my pocket to fit the size of my scraps. So this is going to be my pocket here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a decorative edge. So I'm going to use, again, I'm using my Cool Cats dies. And these are the whisker dies. And again, these are the batwing ones. So Cool Cats tend to do a whole range in one design. So these are the batwing ones. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to pull this decorative paper, so that it is level with the card underneath. Now obviously, you know, I want to end up with a border, but I'm going to do that first. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to centre this up. So I might as well do it properly. So the other thing about the Cool Cats dies is they have a central notch. So there's a little central notch there. So you may as well use them. So I'm going to line that up exactly where I want it. Put my little laser on. And I just need to move that slightly. This is slightly bigger than 6 inches. So I just need to make sure I've got that in the right place. Now, am I going to go up or am I going to go down? I think I'm going to go up, only because this is quite a small pocket. So I'm going to have my design going upwards. Grab that and centered up. I'm going to just stick that onto there like that. So what I've ended up with is my design completely centered, and I'm going with the cut going upwards. I could have gone with the cut going down, but I'm going to go with it going up. I'm going to stick that on like that, and then I'm just going to stick it over so that I know that the card and the paper are level. And then I'm going to pop that through my machine again. Whoops, that's it. Pop it through the machine like that. Take it out of there. And then this will just come straight off. It doesn't cut at the edges, so you might just have to pull it off, but that was fine. Move that out the way. And then when you pull that back down, you've got an absolutely perfect border. So I'm just going to stick that onto there. All the way around, in the middle. Stick that on. You can line it up because you've got beautiful embossed lines on here. And then that is going to be a little pocket that's going to sit there for maybe some small tags. So remember, it's a pocket, so you're only going to go around the 3 edges like that. Got a little bit of sticky tape on there. Get that off. Poke it all. There we go. That's because I folded it over. There's just a little bit left there. And then line that up like that. And we've created a little pocket which we can put some smaller tags in as well. So that's the 3 parts of this page made. All I've got to do now is to glue along this edge. And then what I tend to do is hold it up. And I'm going to line that up because you want to know that you've not put an impact on the hinge. So when I know that's properly lined lined up, and I'm happy that that's not impacting on the hinge, sliding about all over the place. Then I'm just going to give it a bit of a burnish, turn it over, burnish it on the other side, like that, and then that is ready to go into my book. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed that this morning, and I hope you have a go at doing those pages, and I look forward to the next tutorial. Thank you very much. Bye bye.